Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate, and today I want to share my review of the True Manufacturing Commercial ICE training. First, I would like to thank you all as viewers and supporters of this channel, and the channel members and website members. I appreciate all of your support. I thank you all. Next, I'd like to thank the trainers of True Ice Machine training course, who were Yuri, Rosie Paul, and Adam Puckett. And they're the True Manufacturer trainers. Now for my review. Yuri and Adam did an outstanding job explaining the order of operations for the ice makers, and they really they went over a lot of detail. They went over a lot of the disassembling and reassembling on the ice maker, and they even got into a little bit of the explaining about the true equipment and about the sealed system and sealed system evacuations and charging and stuff like that. So I mean, I if you haven't seen my video called the True Commercial Ice Service School, you should check that one out, because that will give you a lot of the information about this training that's going on, because it's going to be going on all over until around December. So if you're interested in attending one of these in-person trainings, you can check out that video and click in the link below, and then that way you can see when they're coming to your area. I really like the True Ice Machine training, and I like that True is they're right there to help support you as service providers or as service technicians as well, with parts, with tech support, and even sales. So you see, when you attend these in-person trainings, it gives you that opportunity to get on the manufacturer's service provider list, which means that's an opportunity for more calls for you as a company. So that's my review of all the training. I hope you all think about going to one of these trainings at some point, and see when they're going to be in your neck of the woods, and you can just click on the link in the description and then research their future training dates and locations. Now, I would like to share with you all some video I took at the training, just so that you could have a little sample of what the training was about. So just let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think, and hopefully this helps you, and you're able to go to one of these, because they're very informative. So thanks again, and check out the video. Hope you like it.
This ice machine, it's been riding around in the back of my car since October of 2023. I've probably done 60 or 70 of these classes since then, taking this thing completely apart, putting it back together, sometimes 2 or 3 times per class, depending on that. And that broke, one piece inside the back broke, that I got replaced, and a wire got pulled loose, and the microchannel condenser is dented a little bit where it slammed in. Somebody stopped in front of me all of a sudden, and of course, the reaction stuff in the back of the vehicle.
Natural.
Stuff happens. So I mentioned some things that I don't like. This is one.
Oh, that doesn't come off?
Well, it does come off,
Oh, okay.
but this is as far as it'll open.
Oh.
It'll swing all the way around. There's a reason for that though, is because the display cable on here, we don't want to overextend it too often because you break the communication for it. I will say the easiest repair you could ever make on this thing would be to replace this display. All right. That's the easiest thing you're gonna do on here. The one thing that they did change was instead of the bulk of the loose wiring being over here, which you'll see in a little bit, all the bulk of the wiring is in here. You cannot pull this wiring loose now that the cable part is on it. So if you had a broken cable, right now they're sending you a door with the cable already foamed into place. Okay, but they're working on something to be able to do that.
Can't make it so that the
They can.
door
they're
is
just-
separate from the display, it's just a.
I don't know. They'll figure that part out. I'm sure they'll do something. But somebody asked me the other day, well, you know, how much of the parts for it? And well, you know, guess what? Next 3 years they don't cost anything. So I ain't worried about it just yet. So talk to me about that in 2027. Then we'll start talking about parts prices. But literally pop it in, slide it over. These two little bumps fill this gap so it can't slide back. And this hasn't changed, and it's stayed on here again for about 25 years worth of maintenance and taking it apart in the past few months. And that's it for the display. Pretty cool. I like it. All right. Cleaning instructions in here. We do have a true descaler. We'd recommend you use the true descaler. As far as cleaner, sanitizer, we're doing chlorine. We tell you how much chlorine to use. I think it's like 4.5 ounces poured directly into the sump, and then with the circulation pump running. It's not the, I mean, chlorine bleach and nickel isn't the best with one another. Right now, that's all we got, but we're working with New Calgon to brand our own for that. So, Manitowoc is the same thing. Simple little relief in the middle, drop it out. I'll pass that around. That is not a Manitowoc splash curtain. I'm telling you that right now. And many times this one's been taken out. None of the tabs have broken off of it. None of the tabs have broken up here. It's going to happen. I mean, come on. It's just a matter of numbers. Eventually, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to break it. Somebody's going to rip on it and mess something up. But fairly easy to take out. The ice harvest flap, it should move freely in here, but it just simply come on, comes right out. This is the magnet. It's on there good. I mean, you put some pressure on there. I've done that every time. Eventually, it's just going to snap right off in your hand, but it hasn't done that to me yet. It's a good weighted, counterweighted ice harvest flap with a magnet on it. I can see if it's cold.
Solid.
Somebody drops it just the right angle on a concrete floor or something, tile floor, it might snap that magnet off of it. Okay, it's one piece, get another ice harvest flap, but you're done. You're not making any ice until you get another one. Okay. The water distributor, two little handles, pulls right out. There's no tube opening with O-rings, no screws, bolts, flaps, anything like that. It just snaps in and snaps out. And it's held up every time. Again, I've done it 60, 70 times in the past year and a half. The holes in it are rather large, so scale, slime, anything like that, holding up wouldn't have a huge effect on the water distribution for that.
Good weight.
Again, water comes in on the top. The top comes just right off once you open the front door. There's the schematic, probably the largest schematic you'll see on any machine. It's a very good one,
Very legible.
very detailed, and it's treated so that if you get chemical or something like that on it,
Will wipe off.
It eventually probably would, enough elbow grease and chemical probably would, but it's gonna take a lot to make that transition. Yeah, I mean, you can't scour that. So up top, we have a
Big diagram.
insulated panel. Everybody seen the taco challenge? Or somebody slap people on the taco tortilla shell. Don't do that, please. But it's a good insulated idea to keep heat and stuff like that away from this evaporator plate. But it's easy to take off to give you some viewing room. But if you look, now that we can see down in there a little bit of light, there's a little ridge right here up top. Behind that is the opening for the water coming out from the circulation pump. So it hits that, moves over either side, has a little bit of a dam that it flows over, and then it's leaning a little bit, so capillary action is going to allow it to hook to the evaporator plate so that we get water distribution all the way down to the bottom. So when we talk about water, or about leveling of the machine with the legs, if you have it tilted too far forward, at some point you're going to lose that capillary action grip, and it may start dripping off the evaporator way up here, and you might not have any. You may not have any water filling the lower cues, right? If it's tilted too far back, it may not shed properly, may get long harvest times because it's having it's battling gravity when it doesn't have the slope or the angle that you need for it. So front to back is important, and then side to side is important, so you don't have the water distribution heavier on one side than you do the other, which would give you thicker bridges, thicker ice on one side, and thinner bridges on the other. All right. Next thing we want to do is take off the sump. The sump is a lot more flimsy. What's the proper grammar to say more flimsy? I don't know.
More flimsy?
It's flimsier than the remaining components. Yeah, it's been 40 years since I've been in grammar school. So we want to take it off. Now the Manitowoc crossing over type thing, that ain't gonna work with this one. I've tried it, it doesn't work. But you'll take the lower hose off of the drain, off the sump. You'll pull in the middle, just pull in the middle, you can see, and then just give it some relief on one side or the other. Rotate it down and out. First time you do it, you're gonna swear you're gonna break the thing. Again, I've done it hundreds of times, but the first time you do it, you'll be like, I don't know about this. Muscle up, make it happen. All right, again, nobody's snapped this thing yet. This is the original one. I haven't replaced it, no cracks or anything yet. But I can see this is probably being the most realistic component to break before any of this other stuff that I pass around.
Yeah.
All right, literally, and it's going to happen. Right? Notice the shape of it. All right, even a little bit of a pitch, not much. Sediment has no choice but to go to this hole. All right, so remember, 63 millimeters. We only fill it to 44. We only use 22. That saves about 22 millimeters worth. We open the drain valve up at the harvest cycle for 15 seconds, and that weight of that water that's up there is going to push that sediment out this drain. So 15 to 30 seconds should be plenty to get rid of any sediment. Now, if you come in here, you do your first cleaning, 3 months, you say there's a little bit of sediment, you see a little bit of scale build up or something on the side of it, doing a descale, bump it up to the number 1. Give it 30 seconds. Come in the next time. It should be about the same or a little bit less scale buildup in the same amount of time based off the restaurant's usage, of course. If it is, I'd probably leave it alone, right? But if it's worse or really close to the same or worse, maybe bump it up to 2. And that should be about it, all right? Because again, we want to save as much water in here at 33 degrees so that when we bring in room temperature water, 60, 70, 80 degree water, whatever it is, we're mixing that, lowering the start water temperature for the freeze cycle, which is going to increase our freeze efficiency by decreasing our freeze time. Make sense?
Yeah.
What if you broke the female side of that, the sump holder? Like if those broke off, what would you just kind of throw a screw in it, or I mean?
Well, I don't wanna put screws in here, but
Yeah.
if you, I mean, literally, if that broke,
Is that,
you're talking about, from the factory standpoint, we're gonna send you a new machine.
Yeah, that's molded in, right?
Yeah, it looks like it is. Yeah, yeah, it does.
You
Yeah.
may need more training or less gym time or something. And maybe some anger management classes or something. I don't think True will pay for it, but might be worthwhile. You might have to just do what you gotta do temporarily, but, you know, when you're looking at inspections and things like that. But, hey, you're thinking out of the box. I like it. I like it. Haven't had that one come up yet. But as far as taking stuff out to clean it, and other than the deflector in here with the thumb screws, that's it. Now, the side panels, there is one screw in the back that you take off. And 99% of the screws in here is this screw. We don't have 12, 13 different screws in it. We don't have 2, 3, 4 inch screws, and a 1/4 inch screw will do, you know, like some places have. So you can rob Peter to pay Paul if you drop one down the drain. Up and off. Here's our air filter. This is number 2 that I don't like on the side breathing ones, because you have to get to this point to clean that air filter. Not a fan. All right. On all of our 30-inch models and our 48-inch models when they come out, all of those are front breathing. So when you open the 30-inch, you'd swing that one open, and there'd be another one here to swing open, and the filter would be behind here with just the 2 screws. That's all you need. Open it up, swing it out, take it out, and clean it. Now, secondly, that's not a flimsy air filter either.
Yeah, but that's not, is that user friendly?
They don't clean it anyhow. Who
No, they
cares?
don't.
That's a redundant question.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. So it's you have 2 screws, top panel, 1 screw in the back, take it off.
Yeah, I don't want the customer to have too much access.
I don't either.
Now,
That's why I don't like it.
why didn't you design it being on the outside? Make a pocket,
like
you
a-
know what I mean, on the outside, and have, you know?
Or a magnetic backing on
The
it.
ones that have the metal.
There,
and
yeah,
there's a
that's a
bending.
real good question. You have to ask the accountants that, the engineers that, the other companies that
Yeah,
have
something
patents on
magnetic
stuff,
would have been better.
who can do what with too much information.
Yeah, but you got plenty of space, just slide it out, you know what I mean? Just make a, almost like a, you know.
I don't know if there was a patent that kept us from doing it. I don't know why the engineers in the bean
Now, are they
counters
thinking about doing something about that? Are they thinking about doing anything about that?
Probably not, but keep in mind, it's only the 400 and 500 pounders
Okay,
that
right, but the other one comes from the
all
front.
the other ones are
Come
gonna
from the
be
front.
from the front.
You could care less.
So, it's not that great, but,
Is that both sides or just the one?
No, one
so
side.
the other side, still a good question. The other side has got a block-off plate. Now, let's say this machine with the right panel over here, left panel over here, let's say on this side you've got a steamer, a fryer, a rationale oven, something like that. That's a high heat load on this side. Do I want to be sucking that air in and pulling it over the condenser? No. I'd rather have it over there where it's 10, 20, 30 degrees cooler. You can actually swap the guts out. Another thing, let's say you take 2 22-inch ones. Let's say they want 1,000 pounds. We don't have a 1,000-pounder yet, but we've got 500s that are only 22 inches wide.
thank you.
And they have a 48-inch bend. And we have all the brackets and stuff like that, and block-off plate. We can throw 2 500-pound units, but we still don't want them both breathing in here close to one another. We're probably gonna take one of them, have it on the left side, one of them on the right-hand side. So it gives us a little bit of adaptability. So, yeah, it's not good that they have to get to this point, but there are other benefits too. Yeah, so you just have to think of a.
But these run a lot cooler than the other, like an R44 unit.
So, yeah, that's not a dandy scenario for that. Right there. The wiring harness for it, right there.
I could see everything perfectly for it.
Proximity switch. Pops right out. had to replace one of those, it wouldn't be that bad. Okay, and it does have, I'm waiting for these wires to come out, they haven't yet. Again, I've done that 100 times, yeah, give it a chance. But there's a little chase that it goes in. The first couple dozen times, it worked perfectly like that every time. Here it's been a little bit more difficult, but you have to kind of run the wire in a little slight curve, and it follows in and tucks in like it should. But you got to make sure that you tuck it back into that front corner on the inside. Otherwise, the magnet won't affect it like it should. All right. So again, meter leads in here, open and close the ice harvest flap, move the magnet away, come back 30 to 40 times. Seems aggressive, but again, there's a purpose. Because if at any time it gives you something different, that's probably what it was. Your circulation pump, one little wood screw that's about that long, little tapered screw there, pointed screw. Take that out, and the notch that you can turn the whole thing is only about like 1 hour on a clock. Just a little counterclockwise, just barely. It lifts right up once you have the hoses out. Just pretty much just like anybody else's, but just one screw. We don't have another one hidden in behind it for you to have to get to. For this side, in this area, that's really all you need to get to. Now, this here is the back of the evaporator. All right, so you got the grids, the evaporator plate, the serpentine for the refrigerant line, the epoxy, the insulation, and then this plastic housing here. It's all pressed together. It's pretty much not coming apart. Sure, you put it in a freezing environment with water somehow in it, the expansion could cause a crack and cause a negative effect with that evaporator. Somebody physically abuse it, drop it off the truck when they're taking it in the, from delivery or something. Things could happen. But outside of that, our certainty is about 99.95% that we're not going to have any separations. And we're not going to have any growth in behind there. It's all insulated, so this shouldn't sweat, even with all the cooling BTUs toward the front. It should not sweat in this area to affect anything and grow the monsters.
What about the evaporator grids themselves? Sometimes the horizontal and the vertical pieces get loose on the other brands.
Yeah, I expect that to happen.
Okay.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Between using chlorine, people using too much chlorine, or non-nickel safe cleaner, eat up the nickel, then it's going to get down to the brazing material. We have had some of that right at the factory, but we test every machine that True builds. The way the production lines. Has anybody been to the factory? God, I hope you get a chance to someday. The way the production lines are set up, a machine cannot get off of that production line until it passes through the test area to get to the packaging, cleaning and packaging and stuff like that, without somebody literally moving tracks and bringing forklifts in or something like that to do that. So it would be almost impossible for one to get by without being tested. So it's going to sit there and sit over top of a cattle trough, basically, dumping ice in there, then it melts and drains out. The way it is. If it's on a Friday afternoon when they set it up, it's going to run all weekend. If it's on a Monday afternoon through Thursday afternoon, it's going to at least run 2 hours sitting on there making ice. And if they find any issues, they're going to find them. Well, we had somebody, because we do all the brazing, somebody at one point wasn't brazing correctly, get sent off to get nickel plated, came back, and we had the freeze in. It gripped around the grid because it had some of that opening there available, and it was giving long freeze cycles, long harvest cycles, causing the water assist to come on. And we got to looking at it and found that, and got to seeing several kind of back to back and several serial numbers doing that. Had to go back to the production line, do a little retraining, something to get that person up to speed and doing it right. So we found that in-house and corrected that. Did some of them escape and going to be a problem later? Maybe. But is it going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen. Everybody's going to have that happen. This is your UV system. So it comes with the hose, the UV system, the exhaust hose all attached. and the wiring for it. The mating wiring goes to the board, is gonna be already connected to the board, and it's just gonna be zip tied up in the back. Do you have a question?
Yeah, if it comes down to it, is it possible to change the evaporator?
Well, if I
Yeah.
come on,
Oh, golly, yeah. 1, 2, 3 screws on that side, 3 screws on the other side,
Okay.
piercing valve into your refrigerant line, duct your charge, cut out, I'll show you on the other side.
All right.
Cut out your liquid line dryer, of course, anytime you open the system, change your liquid line dryer. But it's 3 screws, dump the charge, cut, there's 4 cuts.
I didn't know. You were talking like it was not happening just because you were like, it doesn't really seem necessary, like it could ever.
Probably won't be.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, yeah, but eventually it will.
Yeah.
Eventually it will. I mean, you gotta be realistic. The hope is that it
Right.
won't, and so far it hasn't.
Right.
But that's probably the part that'll least likely to go in the whole machine, so.
Really,
Yeah,
it is, especially with us owning the nickel plating factory now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the joys about being owned by one guy. Yeah, no board of directors, even if the accountants say, I don't like that idea, he'll say, screw you, I do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
So obviously everything's under warranty. If you're gonna send out like a high pressure switch or anything like that, are you gonna send the dryer too?
Oh, yeah, if there's any sealed system repair, compressor, transducer,
Transducer.
high pressure switch, anything like that, you're always gonna get a dryer from us.
And it's probably, even after warranty, we're gonna have to use that same exact dryer, right? For the
Please do, because, you know, if you just throw one of the big blue ones on there that maybe has another 3/4 ounce and a half to it, we don't know what that is, and everything's, you know,
Critical charge.
everything's critical charge. We don't use pressures, temperatures, superheat, subcooling. You know, when we're talking to you on the phone about what a charge should be, we'll say, do you have OEM components? Did you pull a 500 micron vacuum? Did you weigh in the factory charge? Every one of our techs on tech support, those are the 3 things we're gonna ask you. And stay, if you haven't done those, that's what you're gonna do before we start talking about anything else. It's just the way we are.
Will you guys even talk pressures with us with 290?
Yeah.
Because I've had other manufacturers say they won't even, they like don't even know. They're like, we don't know about pressures. They won't even talk about 290 pressures.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We've got all the documentation, stuff like that, what it should be, but still, not having, even if the correct pressure, not having the correct components could still, at some point, depending on what stage in the refrigeration cycle you are,
Could harm it.
may make a difference and could have a negative effect on your efficiency of the machine. The goal is maximum efficiency. And do it right first time, every time, no guesswork. Be curious, you know, do the right things for the right reasons, all that kind of good stuff. So there's a little nylon crimp clamp here. If this isn't on, the UV system isn't on the machine, there'll be a little cap over that little nub from the bottom to block that off with that UV or that little nylon crimp clamp. There'll also be a cap here with these 2 screws in it. You just take these 2 screws off, toss that cap, pull the nylon crimp clamp loose, throw away that cap. This will already be on this mounting plate. So you find your wire, your mullet connector, plug them up, slide that into place, 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and reclamp that. So literally, if you have access to this right side. Alright. Plumbered it, hard wire, hard plumb, everything, blah, blah, blah. You don't have a wall sitting right here. 15 minutes, all it's gonna take. So, condenser coil. Just a few screws, dump the charge, cut. And sealed system repaired back in. No huge deal. Don't try to repair a microchannel condenser. That aluminum's gonna be hard to play with. Open this up, there's your rat, and your rat's nest in there. All right. Remember I said the water level sensor is attached to a hose. The hose is going to a transducer on the board. What if you have this unplugged and you're having to get in here, you're probably just going to dive in and pull stuff out. All right. I would be cognizant cognizant of the fact that there's a hose there going to a little white transducer on the board. That little white transducer has these 8 little spider legs that are really, really flimsy and easy to break to hold it onto the board and for the communication. We're only using 3 of those prongs, I think it is, for communication. But anyhow, if you just grab hold of that stuff and start pulling it out, you could potentially pull that transducer off the board. And if you break or damage those prongs where it can't fit back in, or it's one of the ones that we're using for communication, you're having to replace the whole board.
Dang.
You don't replace just the transducer. It's not a repair component. Yes.
What do you recommend for cleaning the condenser? Because I'm wondering if you take a hose to the back of it, is it going to drip down on all the components like that?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
We don't have, we brought up the subject of having another little drain somewhere or a pan to help catch stuff. But if you were to take a hose to that, I can't do anything about what comes out from the fan.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that said, some of you guys that can see the fan and the fan bracket, you can get that off without taking a ton of other stuff off of the machine. There's room there to pull that out. I've worked on some machines, you have to go through a whole bunch of other stuff to take it out just to get a fan blade off. Here, fan blade, you can take the top cover off. There's 2 screws up top. You can kind of hear that little plate. I'm not tall enough to even see it. Apologize. You've got it going on. We've got chairs here. By all means, take a chance and look at it. But you can take that plate off, and you can actually take the blade off. So it's a little.
Does that give you whole access to the inside of that coil? If you take that plate off?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. So this whole thing
Yep.
is that deep, but that microchannel condenser is only about that thick.
Gotcha.
Right, so there's a good gap in there. So you take that top cover off, brush, use a shop vac, wet dry vac. If you're trying to spray in it, I would do that. Maybe take a piece of cardboard and put in front of the fan blade and stuff. And actually, you can actually see the fan.
Yeah, you can.
If you look just right in there, you can see the blades looking through there. First time I've done that. So yeah, but to keep water from coming out in that back if you want to hose it off. Remember, we don't want to use any caustic stuff, so nothing acid based. So simple green, things like that, be okay. Some of that orange cleaner. There is a foaming citrus based cleaner out there, I think, for HVAC stuff. It's supposed to be environmentally friendly, all that. But still, I think it's greasy. If it's in a greasy environment, at some point, you're going to have to get kind of aggressive.
Yep.
I understand it. I understand it at some point. Hopefully, it's maybe once every other year that you got to go that aggressive with it or something. But in the meantime, trying to be so aggressive with it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Were you there on screen yesterday? No, they just put one in the. Oh, they did? Yeah. Where? Hellenic Center. Oh my God! Yeah, Hellenic Center. They had an ice machine downstairs. They were like 30 years old. That's where they put the Steve and Dave put one in there. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you went there or not.
It's on label.
No, you know. I
don't know which one's on and which one's not.
Is that door magnetic? No.
No, it's good. No, it actually has a nice little close to it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
now some of them are flimsy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, that's
Solid. Nice.
He's not gonna run it anytime soon.
You guys do it right with the Indigo NXT.
Yeah.
They're trying to do something you guys did. You can look at real-time diagnostics.
A lot of cool ideas.
One second.
Are they doing the blueprint?
Good ideas.
There's so many. Yeah, and it's just that T1 though, the one on that other side. The T1 and the TXV are both on that right-hand side, that lower part of the evaporator outlet tube.
Will it give you a code when it goes?
Oh, yeah. Anything that goes on, it'll give you that red alert. You just touch the screen, it'll go on. But then it's gonna have that little triangle, that little yellow triangle that's on the screen. It'll just be sitting in the background. So
this must be the T1 right here.
So when you get there, you can come have this opening in line with this exit hose. Simple when you think about it, once somebody shows you, but if you're not thinking about it, it could easily be installed like that. Not this way or that way, because it's rectangular.
Why didn't they mold it with a tab on it? So it can only go in
You're
one?
right. Stop making sense. You can't be doing that to me.